Hey, welcome back to Lorekanra and Pebble's part 2 of the Orc starting area. We have finished the Valley of Trials and are now in Senjin Village, and we were specifically sent here to report in to Master Gadrin about the Burning Blade cultist orcs. So we'll see if they have any problems here with them. The report comes at a bad time. The Burning Blade is no longer seen here in Senjin, but we will be vigilant in our effort to prevent their return to the area. The orcs are friends of the Darkspear trolls, honorable friends. We want to help the orcs, but we need help too. This ain't good. Not one bit, man. Thrall's off to sea, Vol'jin's taking care of business in Echo Isles, and old Master Gadrin is left behind to take care of Senjin. And then what happens? Those humans come out of Northwatch and set up camp in our backyard. Lucky for us, they just got here, and they still be setting up their base. You can help out old Gadrin by destroying those big supply crates they carry, and by killing the laborers that carry them. You'll find them in the southwest. A little disappointing that there aren't any signs of the Burning Blade here. Just a bunch more humans.
Someone call for the doctor?
Hey man, Bombay be working on some new mojo. You wanna try a piece of it? Well, before you do, Bombay's gonna need you to pick up some jujus. First, Bombay need you to get some of the goop from the crabs down by the water. Let me see your hands. He examines them closely. Bombay gonna need 5 handfuls. Go on now. Okay, so quick review of what we talked about in our last video. The orcs emerged from their caves after all of the giants had basically killed themselves. The orcs were really great at reproducing, and they overcrowded the area they were living in, so they split off into clans so they could live more peacefully. The clans that we specifically talked about were the Frostwolf clan and the Warsong clan, and how they got their names. While we will be focusing mostly on those 2 clans, I do want to mention 2 others. The Blackrock clan, which I mentioned in the last video, got to stay in their ancestral home in the region known as Gorgrond. They were the largest clan, and they were great smiths. They made very durable weapons out of the Blackrock ore from the mountains in the area. The last clan is the Shadowmoon clan, and they also play a very large part in the orcs' history. They settled in a place called Shadowmoon Valley, and they were the farthest away from the ogres, so they lived in relative peace. They didn't have a whole lot of skirmishes, so they spent most of their time studying the stars and astrology and ancestry. They became a very spiritual people. Oh man, did you guys see that? That guy just got crushed by his crate. Well, I mean, I killed him. His body got crushed. Oh, I almost got that second guy with the crate. I wonder if he would have died if it fell on him. These guys are too quick to be caught under the crate. Guys, see those Alliance ships out there? They're not being very stealthy. While Pebble has been a very nice companion up to this point, I think he's getting a little anxious. We haven't met any elements that he can be friends with. There's nobody that Lorekanra can attempt to commune with. I mean, Lorekanra's not as excited to meet the elements here. She still has a decent amount of trepidation when it comes to meeting the elements. It's one thing to have a cute little Pebble that rolls around wanting to hug you all of the time, and another thing to face down a giant fire elemental. I really, really hope that it's not fire elementals that we faced the first time. Feel like they would be the hardest to commune with, but at least we're getting a whole lot of combat training before we meet any mean elementals. Though maybe they're not mean. We're gonna try talking with them first, of course. Just like our ancestors. Because long ago, after the clans had been established, they discovered an area in the Grand that had strange, powerful stirrings. They felt the sinuous water in the twisting air, the raging fire in the patient earth. They met this power with reverence, and because of the respect orcs gave to these elements, the elements gave back. The first shamans were born. These raptors are so cool. Not sure which one I'm gonna want to ride, though I should probably ride a wolf. That's technically the orc mount. These raptors are for trolls.
We've stymied their efforts for now, but they're still here. We have to press on, Lorekanra. Nordwatch's highly defended stronghold southwest of here, across the harbor. It's strategically located stronghold that the Horde still struggle to overtake. We don't need the humans setting up another Northwatch here in Durotar. Sweep through the valley to the west and slay these humans, Lorekanra. Let them know the power of the fury of Senjin. You bring the jujus, I show you my mojo. Yeah, man, that's the stuff. Now we get the other jujus. Next we gonna get some poison from the scorpions that be running around here. But don't you worry, Bombay's not gonna let you get hurt. Bombay's got a big totem that you can stick in the ground when the scorpion strikes. The totem gonna suck up all the poison, and you gonna walk away still breathing. Sound good? These humans in the west, they don't just want to camp in Durotar, man. They got bigger plans. And those plans involve taking our home and leaving our skulls on pikes. Well, I'm not having it. Nope, not law. I've got family here in Senjin, and I'll be damned if I let one of those brutes put my Taitassi's head on a stick. They've got their plans written down there, man. Big scrolls, real important looking.
Stay away from the
We gonna burn those scrolls before they burn us.
Okay, time to leave bad accent behind so we can go questing. Oh, hey, who's this guy? He's on the wolf mount that I'll probably be getting. I don't know if I want a black one. Think maybe white. Is there silver maybe? So our orcs have discovered shamanism. But shamanism was a slow-growing tradition among all of the clans after the orcs built a temple at the powerful location in Nagrand. They called this place the Throne of Elements, and visiting it became a part of the coming-of-age ritual for each family. The orcs that were accepted by the elements and became shaman also became clan mediators and comforters. Soon a festival was created to unite all of the shaman, allowing them to discuss the needs and matters of each clan. The festival was originally designed to be held just for shaman, but soon all of the orcs wanted to come, and it became a biannual meeting among all of the clans. This festival was called the Kosharg, and they all set aside rivalries to enjoy feasting, friendship, and a common ancestry. We'll head into the humans' encampment. I noticed that the soundtrack in the background here is like a more dangerous sounding version of the Stormwind soundtrack. These guys definitely don't really look like they are peaceful. They had ballistas right when we first came in, so that's not a good sign. Though, to be honest, wouldn't it have been better if we had grabbed the documents instead of burning them to, see what their plans had been? That would have been proof that we could have brought to the authority that the Alliance aren't honoring the treaty. We're just burning a bunch of valid evidence. But Lorekanra isn't here to question orders. She's a good Horde member that follows orders. So back on Draenor, the orc clans have a pretty good thing going on. They are separate and do their own thing most of the year and then biannually get together and talk with everybody. Unfortunately, the power from the Throne of Elements that they were using wouldn't be ignored the entire time by the other residents in Nagrand, the ogres. The ogres lived in a great city called Goria, and together all of the ogres made up the Gorian Empire. While they had cities in other locations around Draenor, the capital city of Goria was in Nagrand. Originally, the ogres weren't interested in the power that lingered near the Throne of Elements. It felt weak compared to the arcane practices they knew. But after many generations of the orcs using the temple, the ogres decided to investigate. They poked and prodded the place with their arcane magic and eventually destroyed the temple the orcs had built. Now, the Warsong clan dealt with the ogres on a regular basis, but this attack affected every clan. Many clans did not wish to face the ogres initially. They had very strong magic that the orcs didn't know anything about, and they were much larger. The shaman of the orc clans also rarely used the elements for violence, but the time had come for them to petition the elements for great power, to avenge the desecration of their
You
throne.
feeling well?
After I turn in the scorpion poison, this guy can give me a buff, depending on what I'm looking for. The true trolls that sent me to the human
Just remember,
encampment just
not
thanked me and
every
say
team
that I've helped
regenerates.
Durator quite a bit. And then Master Gadrin sends me over to Razor Hill, which is our next questing hub. We are supposed to inform the orcs
see
there
him.
that the trolls here are going to need help because the humans will probably return. He says I can use my orc friend at the gate, who knows the path well, and we can ride on wolves together over to Razor Hill. It's a little sad to leave our tropical area and head further inland, but I guess, as a good Horde member, I will follow instructions and deliver the message.
Good luck. And
I
keep
also
a good mojo close
noticed
at
that there's just a big variety in the soundtrack for this area, which I don't remember being the case for the Night Elf video that I did. And I don't know if that's because maybe it repeats more, or if
What's that
it's because
smell?
that's where I first
Oh,
started,
bad dog.
or if maybe I'm just remembering the soundtrack portion wrong of the video. I'll have to go back and look.
What's that smell? Oh, bad dog!
And it's okay, your dog just has gas. I do like the landscape here. We've got the parched earth, probably a dried riverbed, scraggly trees with brown leaves. Looks like we've got an abandoned fortress over there, a ship that ran into it. That's nice. Probably because of the cataclysm. We got some intense music to go along with this orc encampment. I've been sent to investigate the presence of more burning blade agents here in Durator. To the northeast, you'll find a cave where the organization trains their new recruits. I'm interested in what exactly they're teaching these neophytes. I only tell you this because it seems you are looking for work. If you're interested in a little coin, sack the cave and return with their spell scrolls. The cave is somewhat hidden. Exit Razor Hill from the east and follow the canyon's eastern ridge.
Troll, oh.
That troll wants us to send help. Bah, he can forget it. I've got my own human problems to worry about, and even those are the least of my worries right now. Senjin Village is right next to Echo Isles and the Valley of Trials. Old Godrin should find plenty of young bloods to help him with his human infestation. Tiragard Keep lies to the southeast of here, on Durator's eastern shore. You probably passed it on your trip from Senjin Village. This castle has been a thorn in my side for too long. Humans from Kultiris lived in the castle for years, thwarting my every attempt to crush them. When the cataclysm hit us, the shore was wiped out along with the castle and all the humans. However, these upstarts from Northwatch have moved in to take their place. Ah!
Dabu.
Looks like we have one more quest to pick up here. Oh no, it's a goblin. Sorry guys, here we go with another accent.
Welcome, friend.
What are you looking at, ugly? Seen you walking around Razor Hill trying to steal my men from me. Listen, I've got something for you to do. I hear Gothok's got you heading over to Tiragard. While you're there, think you could find some abandoned Tiragard knickknacks? Don't ask why, just go get it. That's gotta be one of the least inspirational quest givers I've ever had. I really don't want to do her quest after that attitude. Her dialogue must change if I'm a male character. Looks like our quests are quite split. One leads up to Orgrimmar and the other two are down south. Definitely less than ideal. The Burning Blade one is north, but we'll be heading up there when we're finished with Razor Hill, so I should probably head south. Oh, I guess we have one more quest here. This guy just wants us to deliver some choice meat cuts to Orgrimmar. We'd have to take a flight path north though, so I'll probably save this quest for later. We'll also stop by the inn to change our hearthstone so we can return here when we're finished questing quickly. The beds in here look pretty mismatched. We've got some nice wall alcoves with beads.
Speak, friend.
One regular bed with a bed frame. Some hammocks.
The Horde.
So back on Draenor, the orcs have just finished desecrating the Throne of the Elements and the orcs need to act. At the Festival of Kosharg, the clans came to an agreement. They would unite to defeat the ogres and defend the elements. The shamans sought the elements in reverence, and the warriors prepared for battle. Together they rushed the Throne of Elements and won it back with an easy victory. But that is where the ease ended. Ogres were brutal, and they targeted every village with civilians and children and laid waste to every orc they could find. Instead of demoralizing the orcs like the ogres wanted, this spurred the orcs into cleverness. The united clans dismantled the orcs' supply network and targeted outposts instead of confronting the army head-on, and this drove the ogres back to their capital of Goria. And a side note, this little book here on the ledge is like the only way you'll get any type of history of the orcs in the starting zone. This is the rise of the Horde, though it doesn't really talk a lot about their time on Draenor. We'll be talking about it in chronological order, so I won't read the book to you. Back in Goria, to break the siege, the ogres experimented with a very dangerous substance found on Draenor. It had crippled a different race called the Arakoa that lived here. They hoped to do the same to the orcs. They succeeded, and the disease known as the Red Pox spread through the orc camps, killing many and weakening those that survived. With their army quickly falling to the Red Plague, the shamans desperately needed the elements to act, and so a sad but needed petition was made. The shamans asked for violence. The elements understood these ogres would never leave them be, and so with great and devastating fury, the elements laid waste to Goria. Storms, firewalls, and when the ogres were trapped inside, the earth opened up and swallowed them whole. This was not a joyful victory for the orcs. They had lost many, and some were shocked and a little fearful of the element's terrifying fury. The clans parted ways to rebuild what was left after the war and care for those with redpox. Now, the quests in this keep, not only did you have to run backwards to complete it, but there was a lot of competition for resources, and the fact that you have to slay a particular number of each type of human made the quest very long and kind of grueling, so I will cut most of that for you. You do get to pick up Kultiris treasures, though. That's relevant with Battle for Azeroth expansion. So there's that. Look, there are elements. Just what we've been waiting for. You think those are like flood elements? Yay, we finished. Maybe they'll tell us what the elements are. Word of your bravery travels fast, shaman. Tales of your victory at Tiragard Keep will be heralded in Orgrimmar. Now that those humans are out of our hair for a bit, we can move on to more pressing matters. The cataclysm utterly decimated Duratar's eastern coast. You saw the wreckage that it made of Tiragard. The devastation was even worse on the coast to the east of here. After the first wave, the beach was overtaken by angry elementals that came from the sea. I sent grunts to take care of it, but the onslaught was too much. I'm guessing you'll have a little more luck than they did. Beware the tides.
To victory.
Okay, so he did mention angry elementals. That makes me a little bit scared. I think I should still try to reason with them, though. Maybe they just haven't had a very good shaman here. Gale glares at me menacingly. About time you showed up. Don't even think about stealing that treasure. It's worthless here in Kalimdor anyhow. You, stop right there, you tramp. I'm not finished with you yet. I hear you heading off to the shore to the east of here. The beach is filled with crashed ships, and those ships have gnomish tools in them. Tools that I can use. Get crackin', missy. And with that undiplomatic request, I think we'll end our video. It's a little bit shorter than last time because I had to cut out a lot of that fighting in the keep business, but we finally get to say hello to elements in our next video, so that's exciting. And let's put up our timeline. Okay, so during this playthrough, the orcs discovered the Throne of Elements, and shamanism was born. And then they found the Kosharg Festival, so they can all get together and have a good time. All of that happened around 700 years before the Dark Portal was opened. And you can see that they lived a long time without any major wars happening until about 400 years before the Dark Portal, when the Siege of Ogres happened, and they had to conquer Goria. Don't forget, too, that that is when the Redpox was introduced to the orcs, which plays a part in our story later on. It is also important to point out that the orcs are the super great grandchildren of the Earth Titan called Grond. The orcs themselves don't really know this, which is why I didn't really put it in our timeline. But their heritage means that their skin tones are reds and browns at this point, not the greens that we know today. So our orc mysteries will continue unraveling in our next video. Until then, Lorekanra and Pebble are signing out.